All right, so I do have a random question that actually just came to mind that I'm actually going to ask you is, are you one of those people that if someone had spinach stuck between their teeth, would you actually tell them? If it is the case that you would tell them, raise their hand. If not, go ahead and give me a two claps. I just randomly thought it was two claps. But today we are going to touch on the 5 qualities to look for in a business partner. And this is more so for those of you you've been running your business for a while, or maybe just getting started, and you know that, okay, it's going to be very difficult for me to be able to do this on my own. And now you're considering bringing on a partner. So we're going to go into those 5 qualities to watch out for. So you'll definitely want to stay until the very end. All right, you know the next steps. Those of you on the YouTube, subscribe button as well as the notification bell. And then those of you who are on other platforms, leave that rating. It would really mean the world to me. And just recently, some updates on the 80 unit deal. This was Buckridge at Southport. Finalized the profits with the investors and just the overall deal. Very successful in that sense. And this is not a general solicitation. That's one thing I want to mention. But there was 3 key components. One, this deal was found direct to the owner. That was very key. And this was bought for $3.35 million 2.5 years ago, and just sold it for over $5 million. And what that is, the key things were: 1, buying right, so not overpaying. 2nd, was financing right. And 3rd was buying in good to great location. So those are the fundamentals. And that's what I just wanted to share with you all. And it all started with a cold call direct to the owner. They were not interested initially, and then followed up, because things quickly do change. So always follow up. If there's one thing that you can get from everything that I've put throughout all this content, one of the big things is follow-up is by far the greatest secret that I have learned. For those of you who want secrets out there, we would just go ahead and have that as one. All right, so before getting into the first point I want to go just briefly tell the story on the most recent partnership that I had and this was right after the partnership with my mentor, is the individual that I started working with. Went to a local real estate conference that was on single family home investing, and then that operator actually brought him on stage. His name is Jacob Blackett. Shout out to you, Jacob, if you're watching this. You're probably not watching this, but in case you are, shout out to you. That brought him on stage, and for some reason it just clicked that I want to work with that person. And then interesting thing is, I actually followed him into the bathroom and said, hey, would enjoy working with you, and we exchanged contact information. And then the very next day actually invited me to his office where he was working, where he worked out of that office. And that's where things really just picked up from there. We started working together. And that's what I tell people first off is it's like dating. When you're looking to find an actual partner in your business, is you've got that phase to where you're seeing each other's skill sets, whether or not you actually would enjoy working with this person. So with that partnership, we had that for about 6-8 months. And then that's when we ended up forming our company. That's when the partnership were scaled to 150 single families, and then ended up buying a multifamily after that, with the first deal being a 46 unit. And then the latest was 156 units. So that was the story behind that. But it all started with one, saw the potential, and then started working with them, and then saw that, okay, there's a fit here. Let's go ahead and just jump into it, because at some point there's just going to be a leap of faith. So the first point that I have here is what qualities to look for is reliability and integrity. Is this someone that says what they're going to do, With that, because you got to rely on this person, it's like going out into battle. I don't want to use that as an example, but if you've got one of your associates or the army man right next to you, I couldn't think of what to actually call him, but if you got that person next to you and you're not fully confident that when things hit the fan that they're not going to have your back, it's the same thing with having a partner. Is the same thing is that do they do as they say they're going to do, and do they actually execute? That's most important. Is do they say things and not actually execute? Because when you actually get into partnership with them and you guys have the business plan, it's very important that they have their duties, you have your duties, and you're not the one just executing on what you have, they're actually executing too. And then also integrity is how do they treat other people? And this is one hack that I've learned from others that said is, let's say you're going out to a restaurant, for instance, and you've got that person you're considering on going into partnership with, is how do they interact with other people? Is do they treat people badly? Do they treat the waitress bad? So that's a good indication of how they will treat other people, such as your customers or investors that they're bringing on, that you're bringing into your business. So that's the first: reliability and integrity. So yeah, just doing your due diligence on them and seeing, okay, what type of experience others have had with them. Is it bad? Is it good? So that's the first. The second is complements strengths and weaknesses. And I'm looking over at my paper over there because so many notes that I have jotted down. But this is one of the key components that's really helped propel myself is, and him as well, as strengths and weaknesses. And this comes from a self-awareness, is understanding, okay, what things are you really good at naturally, God-given, versus the weaknesses. Myself is when it comes to underwriting, analyzing, operations, I can make messes, managing people. That's not so much what I enjoy, in an area I would consider what I would say weak in. But when it comes to strengths such as acquisitions, not afraid of rejection, marketing, personal branding, being able to put an idea and a message out there to attract people in, that's one of the things that I excel in. And then also creating systems and processes as well are the things. When I first started out, the systems and processes, I've learned that's been a skill that I've adapted. But in essence, is found someone who complemented those weaknesses, and then it was also a fit to where their weaknesses that they had were my strengths, and then my strengths were their weaknesses. So very key, and that's what I've learned from other entrepreneurs that are high achieving, is they always talk about just going all in on their strengths and building a team around you in the areas that you are weak in. So that's one. And then also just being able to push yourself up just to only focus on those highest value activities that are in line with your strengths. The third is knowledge and experience in the industry. This is one of those things that is not absolutely crucial if they have the hunger to actually go out there and figure it out. But if they don't have the knowledge and experience, that's something else that either you would have to help them on, or they would just have to go out there and figure it out to get that information. But through that's another phase of you looking to grow, is that they still have to get those fundamentals from an education standpoint. So that could slow you down a little bit. So they already have that knowledge and experience, that allows things to ramp up that much faster. The fourth is, does this person align with your business goals? And where you're looking to go long term is, let's say in your business, you're that person as your partner wants to build it so you can sell it, but you're more of, hey, I want to build this for the long term. Those are two different strategies. Or you're more buy and hold for the long term, and they're looking more so, hey, let's get some quick cash in and get revenue from that side. That's what it comes down. What it comes down to is, are your interests in alignment? Because if not, you'll constantly keep butting heads. So those are just some things I wanted to share with you, provide my case in point of just finding someone who was a good fit in the partnership that I had. And I'm still a believer of partnerships, but one thing you also have to have in consideration is a operating agreement that simply spells out that, hey, these are this person's duties, these are my duties. And then also, if worst case scenario, if someone gets hit by a bus, that what happens in that scenario is, how much would I have to buy their ownership for? So those are all some logistics, because when you first go into a partnership, everything's sunshine and rainbows, kumbaya, all the good stuff. But what about when things don't go accordingly, and people change in life? And different things come up, and they decide they don't want to be in this business anymore. That now, through your operating agreement, you already have that spelled out. Okay, what does this look like in the event that I have to buy you out, or you have to buy me out? That way, everything is already discussed on the front end. That way, at a later point, if things end up not working out, that's when it becomes a complete mess. So, just a personal experience share on that. Luckily, I haven't witnessed the messy side of things. Some partnerships out there have, but yeah, that just goes to show is just having everything very detailed in the operating agreement and have an attorney draft that for you as well. So that's it for today, you guys. I would love to hear from you. Comment below, if you're able to comment below, of course, do you have a partner in your business, or are you considering a partner? So enjoy. And one last thing I want to mention is that I'm a firm believer that we all are the creators of our destiny. I've said this so many times that I know there's moments where you may be feeling down, that you may go into a drought, that I haven't been able to buy a deal this month, or I haven't been able to buy a deal for several months, or even the entire year. It just takes patience. And if you do not give up, there is no way that you cannot fail. So I appreciate you so much. Just keep sticking with it. And would you rather it be 50, 60 years away from now, you're looking at all the things that you regret not doing and that you didn't go for because you gave up? Or do you want to be on your deathbed and say that, wow, I did everything that I could do, I lived a full life? I'm fine with now passing along. So appreciate you. Thank you.